Thompson. Mr. Flint, thank you so much for meeting with me today. A couple of questions regarding your lawsuit that you have since filed. I believe it was the beginning of February that it was filed. Could you tell me, can you introduce the Tenbrink family? Tenbrink?
Yeah.
Is it the Tenbrink?
Tenbrink, yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Joel Tenbrink and Robin Tenbrink of Saratoga Springs, and their son Taylor Tenbrink, who was a 7th grade student at Vista Heights Middle School in Saratoga Springs. What I filed is what's called a petition demanding a due process hearing. It's an administrative procedure under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. And so it's an administrative action. I guess you can call it a lawsuit because it's a legal proceeding, but administrative law works a little bit differently. The rules are relaxed. It's not quite as formal. But what it amounts to is you're still required, you have a burden of proof, and you still are required to submit enough evidence and documentation and expert witness testimony to support your position. And so that's where we're at now. The school district decided that Taylor was not entitled to an individualized education plan, special education, and we believe that the testing shows that he should be entitled to it, and the way that that dispute is resolved is through a due process procedure.
Okay, and just to make it clear, the Tenbrinks, I'm sorry, were invited to come, but they have taken a break for a while, is what I understood.
They had a long planned trip out of town, and I believe they leave tomorrow.
Okay, okay, well, I wish them the best. When did they move to Utah?
In January of 2013, so about 13 months, almost 14 months ago, right at the beginning of January of last year, they moved from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where they had lived for some time, and their kids had been going to school in the Coeur d'Alene School District.
Okay. Had Taylor been diagnosed with a disability when he was in Idaho?
Everything that we understand is that no, he'd never been diagnosed with a disability, but it had been determined that he was a gifted student who should be in a gifted and accelerated program. And what happened was they allowed him to skip, I believe it was 2nd grade, so he went from 1st grade to 3rd grade and was in their accelerated student program in their elementary school, and then their middle school there includes 6th graders. So he started his 6th grade in Coeur d'Alene at a charter middle school for gifted and accelerated students.
Okay, okay. Are there any documents stating that Taylor excelled in that program?
His mother, Robin, obtained 2 letters from the teachers in that accelerated program to submit to the Alpine District when they moved here in an attempt to get him immediately placed into whatever gifted and talented or accelerated program was available here.
Okay, okay. Taylor was placed in a special class then, I'm assuming, at Saratoga Shores Elementary School. Was this class equivalent to the one in Idaho?
Well, according to his mother, it was not.
Okay.
Her observation of the coursework and the way that the class was conducted, she describes it as busy work, not really accelerated learning, and certainly not on an individual basis. So all of the students in his accelerated program in that school were doing the same work at the same pace, and she describes it as busy work and not really higher or advanced learning.
But it was categorized as a gifted class or an accelerated class?
It's part of their gifted and talented student program in the Alpine District. Okay. And their teacher, they tell us, is an award-winning teacher for accelerated and gifted students.
I did ask for any type of studies or documentation or even a handout describing the program or the efficacy of their accelerated program, and I was told via email that there was none.
Isn't that unusual for a highly decorated program under a decorated instructor?
I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know either, but that's what they tell us. Now, they have a gifted and talented coordinator for the district, and her name is Shari Taylor. So the Alpine District has made the effort, because it's not required under Utah law. Some states do require accelerated programs, but Utah does not. So each individual district or charter school has to make that choice themselves. Okay. And Alpine District has chosen to have what they call a gifted and talented program with a district-wide coordinator and with teachers that are specially designated as teaching gifted and talented courses. They call it accelerated learning.
Okay.
But through Miss Shari Taylor, I did ask her directly via email if she could provide any type of information showing the efficacy or how the program is, and she responded that she had none to give.
Okay. Okay.
We've also asked for that in the legal proceeding in exchange of information, and we will be subpoenaing Ms. Taylor as a witness in this case.
Okay. Okay. Can you, when Taylor moved here, who recognized the behavior change? Was it the parents or the teacher? Did the teacher, when Taylor first started out in the class, was he fine, and then it just progressed into getting worse? Or who